It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers as they take on the New York Mets. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Two first-place clubs going head-to-head. Well, maybe. First of all, the Mets are 9 games above 500. They're a half a game in front of Washington. The Dodgers are a flat break-even 500, and still that's good enough to be tied with the San Francisco Giants. The Mets now have a 3-game winning streak, and the Dodgers struggling. They've won 4 of the last 7. Dodgers at home and on the road are completely a puzzle. First of all, at home, they're 5-9. They average a little more than 2 runs a game, and they're hitting 197. You get the Dodgers on the road, they're 11-7. They're averaging more than 5 runs a game, and they're hitting 267. The pitchers tonight, it'll be Jacob deGrom on the mound with a record of 3-1. He had a winning streak snapped against San Diego. He is 0-2 against the Dodgers during the regular year, but a big 2-0 against them in postseason. Going up against deGrom, Alex Wood, the left-hander, he's a puzzle. Wood 1-3 and 0-3 against the Mets. However, when he's pitching at home, he is 5-2. When he's on the road, he is 2-7. One last thought: the Mets lead with 49 home runs. The Dodgers are in 29th place. They've hit 24. So we'll get to the ball game and a whole lot more coming up right after this. Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers taking the field, getting ready for Game 2 of the big 4-game series with the New York Mets. Dodgers having looked last night at young Steven Matz and bowing 4-2. Tonight they look at Terry Clown's perhaps his best pitcher. It's arguable that's how good the staff is. But Jacob deGrom tonight, Noah Syndergaard tomorrow night, and then Bartolo Colon the concluding game. We'll take a look at Terry's lineup, and here's the way it goes. Juan Lagares leading off in right field. Asdrubal Cabrera at short. David Wright at third. Yoenis Cespedes at center field. Wilmer Flores at second base. Michael Conforto in left field. Kevin Plawecki will be behind the plate. Eric Campbell, a newcomer, will be at first base, and Jacob deGrom on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Alex Wood with a record of 1-3. He is a much more effective pitcher at home than he is on the road. He is 5-2 here at Dodger Stadium, 2-7 on the road. Last pitched at Tampa, gave up 5 runs in 5 innings and recorded the loss. Dodgers bowed 8-5. He's tough on right-hand batters. They're hitting .252 against him, and he's limited batters here to less than 200. So Lagares will lead it off, and then he'll be followed by Cabrera and Wright. Juan Lagares, when he takes the field, he was a Gold Glove center fielder playing right field tonight and fouls it away, and the count 0-1. So Curtis Granderson, who's been bothered by a sore hip, will sit this one out. Being left-handed serves a purpose to give somebody else a chance to play and for him to rest the hip. Strike one pitch on the way, a little high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Temperature 63 degrees, canopy of blue overhead, and no breeze, thank goodness. So everything is fine. 1-1 pitch on the way, and that's in for a strike. Took a little bit off, and the count 1-2. When Lagares takes the field, the glove that he wears sends a message to the fact that it has J. Lagares Jr. and 12. He bangs one to right field, and Yasier Puig makes a diving headfirst catch for the out. Last night, Puig made a great play, a diving catch to take a base hit away from Lagares, and here he comes up and steals another one from him. So Lagares is 0 for 5 and could easily be 2 for 5.
Shortstop number 13, Asdrubal Cabrera.
So a fine play by Yasier Puig, is second in 2 games, and with 1 down, Asdrubal Cabrera coming up. It's odd, though, that he would make the same play against the same hitter twice. So 1 away. Cabrera checks in. Woods fastball in for a strike. He hits 92. So Cabrera, switch hitter, batting right-handed against Wood. 1 out, 0-1 the count. Off-speed pitch fouled away, off to the right. No balls and 2 strikes the count. For the Mets, the Dodger pitchers have to handle with care. They've had 49 home runs. Their staff has allowed only 17, so Terry Collins has to be very happy about that. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way from Wood. Ground ball to short. Seager is up with it. There's a little 2-step, makes the play, and we have 2 down. Take a look at the Dodgers with the leather. Gonzalez and Utley, Seager and Turner, Crawford, Peterson and Puig, Grandal behind the plate, and Alex Wood on the mound. So with 2 down, here's David Wright, normally giving the Dodgers a very bad time, hitting .340 in his career. So it took a beating coming into the game last night. He was hitting .365 against the Dodgers. Wright last night struck out, went 0 for 4 and walked. So the right hand hitting right checking. Here comes Wood, and fastball is high but over the hitter's head. 1 ball and no strikes. So Alex Wood going up against a tough customer, Jacob deGrom. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's taken just off the corner. The plate umpire is Nick Lentz. Nick is spelled N-I-C. He is the youngest umpire, certainly in the National League, and we assume in the American League. 26 years old. And doing a good job working his way around the big league cities. Nick Lentz. He'll be 27 in December. 2-1 the count to David Wright. The next one turns away from the plate, and the count runs 3-1. Cespedes on deck, playing center field tonight. Big right-hand batter waiting. Meanwhile, Wright at the plate. 3-1 pitch is a fastball sprayed foul upstairs off to the right. Wood dealing at 91. David Wright, without a doubt, has been for quite some time the most popular Met in New York. Delta Airlines even named a flight after Wright's flight. 3-2 the count, and Wood delivers. Bad ball swung on and missed. Hard slider down and in, and Wright strikes out. So it's time for Jacob deGrom, the young man with the long hair to the shoulders and a terrific pitcher. No score at the end of half an inning. The Mets fail to score, and the Dodgers coming up. And take a look now at Dave Roberts' lineup. Chase Utley leading off at second base, one of the better leadoff men in the game. Corey Seager at short, and Justin Turner at third. Adrian Gonzalez at first. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Jock Peterson in center. Yasiel Puig in right. Then you have Carl Crawford in left, and Alex Wood, the pitcher. On the mound for the Mets, Jacob deGrom. 4 starts and a record of 3-1, an ERA of 1.9. Big right-hander ready and deals, and the first pitch to Utley in for a strike. The top men in the leadoff role: Odubel Herrera, Dexter Fowler, Nick Markakis, and Chase Utley, hitting .393 in his leadoff role. deGrom comes back with a fastball, promptly banged into left center for a base hit. It can't be cut off, so Utley is on his way into second base and standing with a long double. So Chase Utley, who is playing phenomenal ball for the Dodgers, hitting an overall .292, and promptly goes for one down around the knees or lower and doubles into the gap in left center field. deGrom 0-2 in the regular season against the Dodgers. However, last year in the division series, remember, he won game 1 and he put the Dodgers away in game 5. So a leadoff double. Now Seager, Turner, and Gonzalez trying to pick him up. deGrom ready and deals, and the pitch in for a strike. So Corey Seager trying to at least advance Utley, hitting .256. 2 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Corey, left-hand hitter, as you know. Strike 1 pitch is a little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jacob deGrom working on Seager electrified baseball at the All-Star game last month in Cincinnati. He struck out the side in the first inning on 10 pitches. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way, and the lanky right-handed sinker is a little low on a check swing, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. deGrom with the long hair, we mentioned it last night. He was thinking about having it cut, but then he found out that some of the hitters last year were grumbling that the long hair was a distraction. 2-1 pitch on the way, and that's whacked to left field on the dead run, but not able to cut it down is Conforto. So scoring is Utley. Back-to-back doubles by the Dodgers. So the Dodgers say hello to deGrom. 2 long doubles, exactly the same pitch on the outside part of the plate. Knowledgeable hitters going the other way, and it's a double for Utley and a double from Seager, and just like that, Dodgers lead 1-0. The batter now will be Justin Turner, trying to keep it going. Turner has reached base in the last 6, struggling a bit, hitting .255. deGrom will look back at second. Jacob set at the belt. Here he comes with a fastball, half swing for a strike. 0-1 to Justin. deGrom, standing on the mound, was a shortstop for a while when he was in college. So he brings a lot more than just being a pitcher. He's also a fine fielder. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Turner swings. Ground ball to short. Up with it there is Cabrera to make the throw. 1 away. Seager advancing to third. Dodgers leading 1-0. Let's take a look at the Mets now. And you have Eric Campbell, Wilmer Flores on the right side, Cabrera and Wright on the left, Conforto, Cespedes, and Lagares in the outfield. Plawecki behind the plate. And here's Gonzalez. So Turner grounds to short, moving Seager over. And now Gonzalez trying to pick him up and get the Dodgers a 2-run lead. deGrom at the belt, right-handed delivers, sinker in for a strike, and the count 0-1. deGrom 6'4", 190. In fact, one hitter said he's like a stick figure out there with the long hair. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Fastball and a mile-high fly ball. It's playable, but tagging up easily is Seager. He can jog in. Conforto, all he can do is get the ball back. So Gonzalez picks up Seager, and just like that, the Dodgers have 2 on the board. A lot of smart hitting, too. Remember, outside of Turner, who is just trying to get his man over, the left-hand batters have gone the other way. Utley doubled to the gap in left center. Seager doubled to the gap in left center. Gonzalez a towering fly ball to left to pick up Seager. So the Dodgers leading 2-0, 2 down, and here's Yasmani Grandal. He fouls it back, and the count 0-1. deGrom, when he started off, it was on a sour note. He had played 6 starts in rookie ball and to have Tommy John surgery. So that set him back a little while, but he has come back strongly. And during the rehab from the Tommy John surgery, he learned to throw the changeup from Johan Santana. The 1-1 pitch, and that's a little low ball. 2-1. deGrom made a huge jump one year in 2013, pitching in the Florida State League, and then next year pitching in the big leagues. Jacob Reddy in his 2-1 pitch, and that's in there for a strike, and the count 2-2. deGrom, when he pitched in San Diego, was struggling. He was falling off to the first base side of the mound, and his elbow was not as high up as he normally likes it. He comes back 2-2, a chopper on the grass in right field, and Flores throws out Grandal. And that will do it. The Grandal, the first left-hand hitter to try to pull the ball, and he grounds out. But the Dodgers get back-to-back doubles and a scoring fly ball and lead 2-0. Couple of doubles and a scoring fly ball, though Alex Wood goes to the mound leading in the second inning 2-0. Now, he retired the side with a strikeout of David Wright in the first inning, and that's an inning that normally gives him a bad time. And then usually he pitches well in the second inning. Well, we'll see if that holds up again. As checking in, it'll be Cespedes, then Flores and Conforto. Big right-hand batter checking in, playing center field tonight, played left field last night. Wood ready, delivers, and gets a strike. Dodgers load up the left side. Yoenis Cespedes, in August of last year, he had a remarkable game. He went 5 for 6. He also scored 5, and he had 7 runs batted in. He takes low and inside, and add to that a stolen base, making him the first player in big league history to record at least 5 hits, 3 home runs, with all of the other, including the stolen base. So a remarkable player. Right-hand batter, terribly strong from Cuba. The 1-1 pitch is off speed and away. Ball 2, 2-1. If you remove the stolen base, he's still just one of 4 players to check all the other boxes. One of them, Shawn Green, who did it back in, well, a few years ago, and the only one to do it since 1954. And the pitch missing off the corner. 3-1 the count. Alex Wood, 5-2 at home, 2-7 with Wilmer Flores waiting on deck. Wood looks down the barrel. Cespedes waiting. And now the 3-1 pitch on the way, swung on, foul back, and the count 3-2. We talked last night about his collections of automobiles. He's listed at only 5'10", but a very solid 210. They have a Spanish nickname for him, La Potencia, meaning the power. Here's the 3-2 pitch, off speed, whacked into left field for a base hit, and that's going to go to the track. Cespedes will hold on as Crawford gets it back in. So we'll see now. Maybe it's going to be a turnaround game for Wood.
Number 4, Wilmer Flores.
Normally struggles in the first, breezes in the second. Tonight, breezed in the first, and now a leadoff single in the second inning. Wilmer Flores coming up. It's such a cute story. I hope you don't mind us repeating it if you were with us last night. last year he heard a rumor that he was going to be traded to Milwaukee, and he heard it while he was playing during the game. Wood looks over at Cespedes and out of the plate and gets it in there. Anyway, the young man who spent his life in the Mets organization was sobbing, crying, tears pouring down his cheeks, very obvious to everybody, while he was at his position at second base. Well, there was nothing true about the rumor. Next pitch very high. He was assured that he's a Met and then he's playing second base. Well, shortly thereafter in another game, he hit the walk-off game-winning home run. So in Brooklyn, they have a minor league club, and they're going to give away a Flores bobblehead, but it's the different one of all time. Next pitch is on the outside corner, 1-2. The Flores bobblehead has two faces. One face, he's sobbing, and on the other face, he's got a big grin. So it is the rare bobblehead for Wilmer Flores. Cespedes at first base, nobody out. 2-0 Dodgers. Wood delivers, and there's a ball hit up the middle behind the bag, smothered by Utley, who tried to get it back to Seager, but he couldn't do it. It was another great effort by Utley, and it's a base hit for Flores to put runners at first and second. Knowing that he didn't have a play himself, he tried to flip the ball behind him, but he was offline. It would have been a miraculous play anyway, but it shows you Utley doesn't miss a trick. So a single left, single up the middle, 2 on, nobody out, and Michael Conforto coming up. Conforto is certainly a kid who figures to be around. Very good hitter, batting .291, 5 home runs, and 19 runs batted in. Wood's first pitch is hit on the ground softly to Utley. He goes to Seager and throws the ball into left field. Scoring easily is Cespedes. Going to third is Flores, and what looked like perhaps a force play winds up E4 on Utley. Runners at first and third, and nobody out. So after trying to make a great play, the hurried play by Utley trying to get the ball to Seager, but it was on the outfield side. Seager tried to lunge for it, couldn't handle it, and just a big break, and the Mets now in perfect position. Cespedes scores on the error. Flores goes all the way to third on the error, and Conforto standing at first. So it's 2-1 as Cespedes brings in a run, and still nobody out, and Plawecki coming up, and so indeed it is a reversal. Normally his troubles in the first inning, he breezes in the second. Tonight he breezed in the first, troubled in the second. So Plawecki ready to check in. Right-hand hitting catcher, homered last night. And the first pitch to Kevin, a check swing. They're going to look at first, no swing. So 1 ball and no strikes to Kevin Plawecki. First and third for the Mets. Nobody out. Flores at third, Conforto at first. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Wood deals, and that's whacked into left field. Charging and then jamming on the brakes is Crawford. Scoring easily is Flores, and just like that, it's a 2-2 tie. Crawford was thinking about catching the ball, and then he realized that ball was going to eat him up. That was a sinking line drive to left field. So Plawecki drives in a run, scoring Flores. Stopping at second is Conforto. And just like that, 2-2 with the Mets 2 runs, 3 hits. The Dodgers 2 runs, 2 hits. And the batter now, Eric Campbell. We have never seen Eric, recently joining the ball club and doing pretty well, hitting .286. Out of a stretch, and the pitch to him is a little low. Campbell started to swing and held up. Right-hand batter with the name Campbell. What do you think his nickname is? Sure, Soup. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swings, doesn't get it. 1-1. So Wood trying to fight his way out of a stormy inning. He's faced 4 batters. They've all reached and 2 of them have scored. Utley made a great effort to no avail and then threw a ball away. Campbell swings, lifts one to right. Puig is there to make the catch. The runner's bluff and an arrow across, cut off by Seager. So that's what Puig loves to do. Even though he's struggling hitting, he loves to throw the ball.
Pitcher number 48, Jacob DeGrom.
So Campbell, a fly ball to right field. That would be the first out of the inning. Now Jacob is a good hitter, 0 for 1, but you can't just look at him and say, okay, you're out of the inning. So DeGrom checking in. As we said, a shortstop in college and a reasonably good hitter. Might be up there to bunt. Let's see. Dodgers look bunt. Turner's well in on the grass. DeGrom left-hand batter. Wood set at the belt, checks the runners at first and second. The bunt is on, but he pulls the bat away. A throw down to second, but not in time. So the pitch in for a strike. DeGrom just pulled it away. DeGrom trying to move his men along. Plawecki is at first, Conforto at second. 0-1. Wood out of his stretch. DeGrom up there to bunt, tries to, fouls it, and the count goes 0-2. DeGrom with the bat has 2 sacrifices this year. Jacob checking again with Tim Tuffle, the third base coach. Conforto away from second. Plawecki from first. 1 out. 2-2 tie here in the top of the second inning. Again, Wood out of his stretch. DeGrom shows bunt, tries to, fouls it back, and strikes out. So that's a big out. DeGrom failure to make the bunt. Frustrating for the manager. And now the leadoff man, Lagares, coming up.
12-1 Lagares.
Lagares twice now has hit the ball to right field. He's a right-hand batter, and twice Yasiel Puig has taken a hit away from him. So 2 on and 2 out. Grandal out to talk to Wood for the moment. Lagares, we were talking earlier about his glove. He is a brand new daddy, and the baby is Juan Lagares Jr., and then they put the 12 next to it, which is his uniform number. 2 on, 2 out. Bunch of deuces up there and an off-speed pitch in for a strike. 0-1. Tom Gordon, Goodwin I should say, coaching at first, former Dodger. Wood from a stretch, another lick, and the strike 1 pitch on the way. Lagares takes low and away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Lagares, a Gold Glove winner. In fact, the Mets were talking about him when he got the Gold Glove 2 years ago. They thought he was about as good a center fielder as they had. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lagares from the Dominican goes after a bad ball way off the plate, and the count 1-2. So if he was annoyed at Puig taking a base hit away from him twice, he's a little hot at himself for chasing that one. Right-handed all the while. There's his man, Puig, thinking about throwing the ball. 1-2 the count. He's thinking, of course, of Conforto at second. Lagares takes inside under the elbows. So in the inning, Cespedes single to left field. Flores single up the middle. Smothered by Utley, but no play. Then Conforto hit a ball, and Utley threw it away on a forced play at second. Single by Plawecki, and the game was tied. Deuce is really wild here, and the pitch fouled away. 2 runs for each team, and the count 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and 2 men on base. Jacob deGrom appears a little bit depressed right now for 2 reasons: giving up the 2 to the Dodgers in the first inning and then failing to get the bunt down. 2-2 to Lagares with Cabrera on deck. Wood out of his stretch, left-hander set. Here he comes, and the pitch way off the plate. So 3-2 and 2 down. The runners will be going. A bit of an advantage. Conforto from second, Plawecki from first, and on edge is Cabrera, the on-deck hitter. We're 2-2 in the second inning. Wood spinning the ball around in his hand as he hides it behind his left hip. Long look at Grandal. Now he's ready. 3-2 with 2 out, and now backing out of the box is Lagares. Runners ready to go. 3-2 with 2 out. Breaking ball, popped it into shallow left. Backing out is Seager, calling, and puts it away. Yasiel Puig in the first inning making a diving catch against Juan Lagares. Interesting, that's the second time in 2 games he's done exactly that. However, the Mets rally, and it's 2-2. A 2-2 tie, and the young right-hander ready to go to work against Jock Peterson, Yasiel Puig, and Carl Crawford. Peterson came in last night as a defensive player, no at-bat, hitting .275 and takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Peterson, remember last year in the first half, was home run happy. Every time you looked up, it seemed like he was hitting one out. Well, he has 6 home runs so far this year. Takes an off-speed pitch, in the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Interesting contrast for Jacob deGrom as far as night and day is concerned. 1-1 pitch swung on and missed, in the count 1-2. deGrom in the daytime is 13-2 and an earned run average of 1.2. Magnificent, huh? At night he's break even. Here's the 1-2 pitch, a little low, 2-2. At night he is 13-13 and an ERA of 3.4. Jacob ready, and his 2-2 pitch on the way is low and inside. So 3-2 the count. deGrom is fighting it a little bit. I'm trying to watch to see if he has a tendency to fall off. He's on the first base side of the rubber. The 3-2 pitch on the way is swung on, lined into left center, and it looks like the Dodgers are going to have their third double as Peterson gets into second base standing with exactly that. So the left-hand batters are really giving DeGrom a bad time by going the other way up into the gap in left center. Doubles by Utley and Seager in the first inning, and now Peterson to start off the second. Run down by Cespedes, and he had a little trouble with it anyway. So Peterson a double, and that brings up Yasiel Puig. So here is Puig, struggling, as you probably know, hitting .235. Might make him a little happy. He has 4 outfield assists, but that's not going to please him really. He has 3 home runs, 12 runs batted in. DeGrom ready, over the top fastball, pulled sharply, speared by Wright. No play at second, throws to first and fools his first baseman Campbell off the bag. A tremendous diving stop by David Wright. Looked at second and then went to first, and it was an awkward off-balance throw. So that looked like base hit all the way, and then Wright got it, was ready to second. That cost him the play at first because he pulled Campbell off the bag. So Puig is safe, so is Peterson at second with the ball hit ahead of him. The swipe tag by Campbell might have gotten Puig on the buttocks. The Mets were on the phone to see about challenging. They're not going to challenge it, and it will be an error, even though it was a dazzling stop. Nevertheless, you had to explain the wide throw to first. So a double and an error, and the batter is Carl Crawford. DeGrom delivers, and that's fouled away. So the left-hand hitters have gone to left center for 3 doubles. Puig reaching on an error, although it was a magnificent effort by David Wright. So Peterson takes his lead from second. Puig from first, nobody out. 2-2 tie, only the second inning. DeGrom ready and deals. Crawford fouls it off, and the count 0-2. Crawford hitting just .211. He has 4 runs batted in, couple of doubles and a triple. All right, DeGrom again ready, trying to get out of a jam. A dancing Peterson at second, and the pitch to Crawford, pull foul into the Mets dugout. Tomorrow night, Noah Syndergaard and Kenta Maeda. And then the concluding game of what should be an exciting 4-game series. Bartolo Colon and Clayton Kershaw. DeGrom with a splitter grip. Now the right-hander ready. And the strike 2 pitch, and that's over Crawford's head. 1-2 the count. So DeGrom obviously struggling. He's accustomed to pitching much better than he has tonight. Here's his 1-2 pitch, swung on, big chopper to fair at first. Campbell feeding DeGrom for the out, and the runners move up to second and third. So Crawford pulls the ball, moves him up, and the batter now will be Alex Wood. Alex Wood has 2 hits, both singles, but he does have 2 runs batted in. In his 9 at-bats, he has struck out 5 times. So he's trying to make contact for sure with runners at second and third. Campbell, the first baseman, wide of the bag, right on the edge. Same story for David Wright. Outfield straight away, and Wood, big swing, fouls it away, and the count 0-1. DeGrom, who was pushed around for 2 runs and 3 hits in the first inning, trying to get out of some more trouble here in the second. The strike 1 pitch on the way, foul back at 94. So DeGrom is just trying to overpower Wood and strike him out for sure. Jacob 6'4", about 190. Now at the belt, and the strike 2 pitch on the way. DeGrom ready and deals. Fastball on the outside corner, letter high, and down he goes. So it's a big out, no advancement on and out. And with 2 down, Chase Utley coming up. That strikeout to Wood, by the way, is the first strikeout by DeGrom tonight. So here is Utley, who doubled to left center, scored a run, leading off the game. Second and third for the Dodgers in a 2-2 tie with 2 out. DeGrom out of his stretch at the belt, ready, in the right-hander, delivers high up around the eyes. Ball 1, 1-0 the count. For DeGrom, originally a shortstop, then he thought they were going to make him a closer. Then they asked him, would you mind starting? And that was the beginning of his life. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. That's at Stetson University. Utley, a little foul off third, going back into the crowd. The Blue Jays at the Giants, and the Blue Jays are on the board. They're leading 1-0. J.A. Happ and Matt Cain. That's a bad combination. Peavy with an ERA of about 9. Cain is 0-4 and an ERA of almost 8. 1 ball and 1 strike to Chase. DeGrom at the belt. Back he comes, swung on and missed, and they count 1-2. We have a 2-2 tie, 2 runs, 3 hits for each team, and each side has committed an error. DeGrom, eyes riveted on his catcher. Adrian Gonzalez had a fly ball to drive in a run. And the 1-2 pitch coming up. DeGrom deals, and it's foul back. DeGrom, the Rookie of the Year, designated by Sporting News magazine. The Major League Baseball Players Association named DeGrom the National League Outstanding Rookie. That's another award. Then the Players' Choice Awards was given to him. He also got the Defensive Pitcher Award. And the next pitch, Utley is fooled, a sinker down and in. He strikes out. The Dodgers waste a double and a narrow, lead 2. And at the end of 2, they have a 2-2 tie. Two innings. We have a 2-2 tie moving to the third. Asdrubal Cabrera, David Wright, and then Yoenis Cespedes. So Alex Wood has made 39 pitches. Jacob DeGrom has already made 35. A very busy 2 innings. Wood ready and delivers. First pitch in for a strike to Cabrera, who grounded a short in the first inning. Cabrera, a very good hitter on the road, brings up a road batting average of .333. And in the 9 games played this month, he's hit over 300. Strike one pitch on the way, sprayed foul upstairs, and the count 0-2. Cabrera, we mentioned it last night, had the thrill of an unassisted triple play. Typical 2 runners going, line drive caught, step on second for the second out, tag the runner coming from first, and you've got a handful of 3. Well, that's what happened to Cabrera. 1-2 the count. Cabrera, as a veteran shortstop, has over 1,000 hits. And you know he has a habit. We'll see if it happens. We ought to make a note of this. When a Mets player hits a home run, you have to watch Cabrera. We'll tell you why. The 1-2 pitch on the way, bad ball, chased and missed, and down he goes. What he will do on a home run, if he is not involved, he will get up out of the dugout, and as the home run hitter heads for the plate, he will take his helmet and he will put it into the helmet cat. In other words, he is a helmet butler for the New York Mets. Asdrubal Cabrera. He's been doing that, he said, since he first started to play the game. Well, with 49 home runs, he's had that helmet trick going on for quite some time. So 1 down. Here's David Wright, and David takes low, ball 1. Struck out in the first inning. Dodgers trying to keep him quiet, and they haven't been able to do that very long in his career. Takes a look at a sinker, and that's too low. 2-0 the count. Wright last night went 0 for 4. Struck out in the first inning, so 0 for 5 in the series. Now the 2-0 pitch on the way. David takes just off the plate. 3-0. Now Wright has a lot of power. He has 4 home runs, 8 RBIs. They might just let him rip, although you have Cespedes waiting on deck. So here's the 3-0 pitch to David Wright. Has a look at a slow breaking ball for a strike. 3-1. Alex Wood had Tommy John surgery 1 year before Jacob deGrom. 3-1 pitch is low, ball 4. So Cabrera strikes out on a pitch way out of the zone. Cespedes coming up. Meanwhile, we're talking about the helmet butler. Watch this. Yep, he takes Plawecki's helmet. Thank you very much. You tell a story, and it's nice to see that it was true and it occurred. Trust me, it happens all the time. Cespedes single to left field, came around to score a run. David Wright held on by Gonzalez. One thing about Wright, he's usually right when he's swinging that bat, especially against the Dodgers, but he's working on a little string now. A high fly ball down the right field line, starting to foul away, and here comes Puig in the corner and then hustles it back into second base. So Cespedes, a foul ball down the line. The crowd gets a big kick out of Puig's throwing. Come to think of it, so does Puig. And the batter will be Wilmer Flores. Catch, whirl, fire to second. Wright had no thought about going, but nevertheless Puig wanted to make sure. Talking about Wright, he got that walk. He has drawn a walk now in 10 straight games. So when you're hitting in front of Cespedes, that's a great bit of work. So 2 down, Wright at first, and here's Wilmer Flores. Second baseman, right-hand batter, fouls the first pitch off, and the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike to Wilmer. Struggling, hitting just .188. The numbers are only numbers to us. But boy, to the ball players, the numbers can eat you alive. Strike 1 pitch to Flores instead. Throw to first. and Wright back on. Wright does steal bases. He has stolen 3 out of 4. A guy who knows all about stolen bases, Tommy Goodwin, who played for the Dodgers, he stole 50, 55, and 60 as a Dodger. So Wright, cautious lead. Wood goes, and there goes Wright. The pitch is high. The throw is in time. A perfect throw by Yasmani Grandal, and David Wright is erased. So as it turns out, they go 1-2-3 despite the walk. Wright nailed for the second time on a perfect throw, and all Utley had to do is stick the ball right into the glove, and that'll do it. 2-2. The bottom of the third inning, Corey Seager, Justin Turner, and Adrian Gonzalez. So Seager, the young shortstop, double the left center to drive in Utley, and then he came home on Gonzalez fly ball. Corey hitting .263 and a big swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. Seager, last game 0 for 2. 0 for 2 and a strikeout in this series. He takes high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Totals are identical. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. DeGrom and Wood. 1-1 pitch, little high. 2-1 from DeGrom. Jacob ready and comes back 2-1 with a pitch that's pulled foul outside of first down the line. 2-2. DeGrom will just keep getting better and better. That's the word. He's coming off a loss. 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball, slow roller up along first, picked up by DeGrom. We told you he's a good fielder, and he goes to the bag for the out. 1 away. Say, friends, don't miss the annual Freeway Series driven by Lexus when the Dodgers and the Angels face off at Dodger Stadium next Monday and Tuesday. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/tickets. Well, the Dodgers have had, 13 players on the DL this year. And the Angels have really had their wings clipped. So they'll be here Monday, and we'll probably fly a Red Cross flag here at Dodger Stadium. Brandon McCarthy throwing pretty well. Brent Anderson is also taken in the game. So those two might come back soon and get the Dodgers back on track. Then, of course, Scotty with the bad back, Van Slyke, he might be back in June. So it's been a tough time around here. And Andre Ethier with the broken leg. they're hoping he can get back, and it'll be a totally different ball club when they finally get them together. Strike one pitch, a big swing and a miss by Justin Turner. One out, third inning, 2-2. Turner hitting .252. Waiting on deck, Adrian Gonzalez. Fastball hit late and foul. That fastball, by the way, at 94. Tell you who's hungry, it's Adrian Gonzalez on deck. So far at home this year, Adrian is hitting .087. That's right, less than 100 at home. Strike two pitch on the way. Fastball, a hopper, nice big hop, almost took Flores' head off, and he throws to first for the second out. You see a ball hit that hard and that hop, and remember when you played on AstroTurf, a ball hit like that, disastrous. Flores stayed with it. So two down, and now here's Adrian. Gonzalez, always the butter and egg man for the Dodgers, and true enough, had that scoring fly ball to pick up Seager for the second run in the first inning. And the pitch off the plate, ball one. 1-0. The 1-0 pitch on the way to Adrian. Check swing, and the pitch is low. 2-0 the count. Adrian trying to get started. He's reached safely in the last 9 games that he's played against the Mets. Swings a one hopper into right field, base hit. Flores, who was 20 feet out into right field, made a diving try, but no chance. So for the Dodgers, that's good news to see Gonzalez hit that long fly ball to left to drive in a run, then get a fastball that he can pull into right field for a base hit. So now Yasmani Grandal coming up. That is the 4th hit by the Dodgers against Jacob deGrom in a 2-2 tie. Grandal ground ball to Flores, who's about 5 or 6 feet out on the grass in right field, and he promptly pulls one down the right field line in the corner for a base hit. Over to get it is Lagares. Here comes Gonzalez. They will stop him at third on the double to right by Yasmani Grandal. So Jacob deGrom, who had a lot of problems mentally, in the sense he was very unhappy with his delivery in San Diego, falling off to the left, and he's having troubles tonight. Jock Peterson coming up with Yasiel Puig on deck. So deGrom has given up 2 runs and 5 hits, and he's made 48 pitches, and he's only in the 3rd inning. Cabrera, the shortstop, is directly behind second base. Flores out in right field. Cespedes a little towards left center. And here's Jock Peterson. Second and third, 2 out. deGrom ready, deals, drops it in for a strike, and the count 0-1. We always do it, just force a habit about deGrom and any other pitcher with a runner at third. He does not have a wild pitch. 0-1 to Peterson. 2-2 tie, bottom of the third. deGrom ready. Here he comes, working a fastball high and away. And now Flores has gone over second base and is now technically on the right side of the infield. So David Wright all alone on the left, and Dodgers at second and third with 2 out. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jock Peterson, who doubled to left center in the second inning. Jock takes low. 2-1 to count. First base open, and Puig waiting on deck with 2 out. Terry Collins, a little edgy right now, watching one of his top pitchers struggle. Now the 2-1 pitch coming up. Jacob ready and deals, swung on and missed, and the count 2-2. Boy, a big swing by Peterson, dropped to his knee, turns and checks to the plate umpire, did I swing at a pitch? Puig, who was on deck, struck out twice last night, 0 for 4, hit the ball hard, reached on an error in the second inning tonight. That was that base hit he lost on that diving stop by David Wright. 2-2 the count with 2 out. Big pitch coming up. DeGrom set at the belt, eyes riveted on the strike zone, and the 2-2 pitch to Peterson is very high. Ball 3. So Puig deep in thought, knowing that in a moment he could be coming up there with the bases loaded, and DeGrom fully aware of Puig's presence, I'm sure. All right, 3-2 the count. DeGrom at the belt. The 3-2 pitch with first open and 2 out. Peterson backed out, now back out. Gonzalez at third, Grandal at second, and a 3-2 count to Jock Peterson. DeGrom ready. Here it comes. Fastball foul back. Got it down and away, his sinker. Peterson did a good job of making contact. Meanwhile, DeGrom now, his pitches are starting to pile up. 54 pitches, and he's only in the third inning. So Peterson trying to give him a bad time. We have a 2-2 tie. Dodgers got 2 in the bottom of the first, and the Mets came right back with 2 in the top of the second. So Puig waits. Peterson giving it a battle, 1 for 1 on the night. DeGrom ready, and the 3-2 pitch with first base open. DeGrom delivers, fastball grounded foul. That sinker down and in. Still 3-2. Terry Collins, who spent a lot of time in the Dodger organization, watching young DeGrom. Grandal at second, Gonzalez at third, 2 out, and a 3-2 count again on Peterson. It's in there for call strike 3. Peterson was fooled on the pitch, had no chance, and DeGrom fights his way out of it. The Dodgers leave runners at second and third, and at the end of 3, a 2-2 tie. LA is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the bacon-licious sourdough bacon ranch combo. Only at Jack in the Box. We move to the 4th inning. Here's a picture from the archives going all the way back to 1944. Frank Sinatra celebrating and serenading the Dodgers and the coach at the time, Charlie Dressen. 1944. During the war, the Dodgers trained up at Bear Mountain in New York. Fourth inning. Wilmer Flores, remember, was left at the plate when Wright was thrown out trying to steal. Flores had the infield single up the middle in the second inning. Both pitchers are working very hard. Wood made 51 pitches in his 3 innings, and DeGrom has made 56. DeGrom upset, I'm sure, about himself, coming off a game he really disliked his own performance against San Diego. And as we mentioned, one thing was the fact he was falling off towards first base, and the other, his elbow was not getting up as high as his head the way he likes it, and apparently struggling again tonight. Ground ball to short. Seager. So Flores taps to the shortstop and will bring up Michael Conforto. Conforto, during the playoffs and in the World Series, basically a young pinch hitter, but he is really showing the talent that they know he has, hitting .288. That's a strike. Alex Wood facing Conforto. Conforto went to school at Oregon State. 6'1", 215-pounder, and they are very high on him. He's also very smart. He had a GPA of 3.7 in high school, and his SAT, they tell me, was 1740. His father, Mike, played linebacker for Joe Paterno at Penn State, and his mom won 2 gold medals in synchronized swimming in the '84 Olympics right here. High fly ball, starting to turn foul right down the line for Puig to make it in fair ground as the ball started drifting back. So Conforto, a fly ball to Puig, and we have 2 down in the 4th inning. And the batter will be Kevin Plawecki, the catcher. One other note about his mom: she was so good, the Japanese judge awarded her a perfect 10 in synchronized swimming. Okay, Plawecki single left in the 2nd inning. Catcher hit a home run last night. Foul ball. 0-1 the count. Travis d'Arnaud, who figured to be the first string catcher, has been banged up, and so it's a good opportunity for Plawecki to show his wares. He caught Matz last night, catching DeGrom tonight. 0-2. Rene Rivera, who you may remember caught for the Padres, is the backup catcher right now behind Plawecki. 2 down in the 4th, a 2-2 tie. Two runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Mets. 2 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error for the Dodgers. Eric Campbell, the first baseman, on deck. Tomorrow night, Noah Syndergaard and Kenta Maeda in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wood taking a breather right now. He's made 63 pitches. We mentioned earlier he usually pitches very well. He's 5-2 at Dodger Stadium, 2-7 on the road, and he takes care of Plawecki. So the 1st inning was quiet, the 4th inning is quiet, and we're going to the bottom half in a 2-2 tie. senior athlete? If you do, nominate them for a chance to be named a Time Warner Cable Sports Championship Drive Scholar Athlete. Receive a $2,500 college scholarship. Go to twcschamp.com now for more information. Bottom of the fourth, Yasiel Puig, Carl Crawford, and the pitcher Wood. First pitch fools Puig in the count 0-1. Yasiel drilled one in the second inning. Should have been a hit except for David Wright. Wright made a diving stop, but then after looking at second, hurried his throw to first, pulled Campbell off the bag, and after making the great stop, still drew an error. 1-1 to Puig. Off the end of the bat, 1-2. DeGrom with the fastball and what the hitters talk about as a power slider. That is a big pitch for him. 1-2. Fastball and a mile-high fly ball in the left center. Going to the wall as Cespedes leaps up and makes the catch. If ever a ball looked like it might be a home run, it was that one. Cespedes never quit, went to the wall and made that great catch. Wonderful play. A mile-high fly ball. There was no chance for Conforto, but Cespedes at the wall reached up. I don't know if the ball would have gone out or not, but his glove was right, almost flat even with the top of the wall. So no matter how many times you look at it, it's still an out. So Puig losing the home run, taken away by a fellow Cuban, and the batter now, Carl Crawford. Ball one. Crawford grounded out wide to first. Eric Campbell got it over to DeGrom. Chased. 1-1. One of the things about DeGrom, he is tall, as we told you, but he has a longer stride than most pitchers. So that means the hand travels a bit farther forward before the ball comes out. Pedro Martinez was blessed with that same late release. See that? He's holding on to that ball long away, and that messes up the hitter's mechanism. Even his teammates say it's tough to play catch with him. 2-2. DeGrom in that great rookie year. That's Crawford talking to the young plate umpire. Here comes Dave Roberts. Take a look. Down there, way out of the zone. And is he going to call he took a swing? Maybe he's saying that the catcher's glove hit the bat, so you'd be awarded first base. Though I wasn't sure what the plate umpire was doing as far as brushing his hands together. Bob Guerin on the phone, and Crawford's going to strike out. That's all there is to it.
Alex Wood.
Check swing on a pitch almost in the dirt, caught by Plawecki. So that's that for Crawford, and here's Alex Wood for a strike. Crawford a little annoyed, in fact frustrated. 4 strikeouts for DeGrom. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alex Wood struck out back in the second inning. Fastball on a 1-1 count is lined into center field. So Alex Wood, a 2-out single, and the batter will be Chase Utley. Boy, he took a nice easy swing and just stroked it over the head of DeGrom and into center field. Now here's Utley, who doubled to the gap in left center, struck out, and committed a rather important error after a splendid effort on yet another play. So he's in somewhat of an emotional roller coaster, although you'll never know it from watching Utley. Foul ball, 0-1 the count. Utley didn't start last night, but he pinch hit in the 7th inning, stayed in the game. Starting tonight, he's 1 for 2. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing, says Jim Reynolds. Well, Wood got a base hit on a 1-ball, 1-strike count. We'll see what happens now. Seager on deck, ready to make his 70th pitch. Jacob deGrom. And it's low, ball 2. 2-1. Oh, it was 2 years ago in September. deGrom tied a major league record. He had 8 consecutive strikeouts to start the game. 2-1. Comebacker off the glove, picked up at short. The throw to first is in time. Oh, what a play that was. So deGrom slowed it down, and Cabrera makes that dazzling throw to first. The Mets are standing around for the moment. The Dodgers contending the out at first. So wait and see. Cabrera made a remarkable play to get the ball to first. Bare hand pickup on one leg, sidearm sinker to first. That close. Looked like the call was right, but we'll see. And that'll be that. He is out at first. So at the end of 4, a 2-2 tie. On Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota time is going on now. Save big on the striking all-new 2016 Prius. See your local dealer today. Checking out an electronic umpire's call at home plate. That's Jackie Robinson. Directly behind him is Duke Snyder, the manager Bert Schotten in the plaid shirt. And the hitter, although he's not going to hit anything, is Pee Wee Reese. Bert Schotten was quite a character. One year, it was about 1950, and there was an announcer in Chicago for the Cubs named Bert Wilson. And it was coming up to the All-Star game, and there was a big debate who should be on the club, selected by the manager, Duke Snider or Hank Sauer. And Bert Schotten selected Snider over Sauer. And Chicago was furious. And Bert Wilson decided to take advantage of the feeling in the city. And so he organized, I hate to even say it, a shoot Schotten club. I mean, we were pretty naive, but that's what he said. Let's shoot Schotten. So the day of the All-Star game, everybody was a little shaken up. Foul back. And when Schotten appeared, he never wore a uniform, so he was never allowed on the field. But he had street clothes, and he walked up to the top step of the dugout in Wrigley Field, and the crowd was booing. You could have heard it in Michigan. And he would turn, and he looked out to left field. And then he turned and looked out to center. And then he turned and looked out to right. And I mean, he let them scream their heads off. And then he turned and looked at the crowd behind home plate. And he just stood there and stared at them as if to say, all right, you want to shoot me? Take a shot. And finally, after he felt he had given them enough, he turned and went back and sat down in the dugout. Meanwhile, while all that's going on, Suit's done. One away. Campbell called out, and DeGrom coming up.
48, Jacob DeGrom.
5 strikeouts for Alex Wood. And the batter, Jacob DeGrom, who struck out in the second. Wood has a base hit against him, so we'll see what Jacob, the former shortstop, can do. Ball 1, no, strike on the corner. Alex Wood with a base hit tonight. Dodger pitchers have a total of 8 hits so far this year. Kenta Maeda with a home run. Kershaw has 4 hits and Wood has 3. 0-2 the count to Jacob DeGrom. On the inside corner, off-speed pitch, and down goes DeGrom. So that's 3 consecutive strikeouts. Alex Wood now has a half a dozen. And now it's the top of the order, Juan Lagares, who was robbed of a hit by Puig and popped up. 0 for 2. We're tied at 2. We're in the 5th inning with 2 out. Wood is on a roll. He's retired 6 in a row since he walked David Wright back in the 3rd inning. That's ball 1. Shows bunt, takes a strike instead. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wood now has made 74 pitches. DeGrom has made 71. 1 ball and 1 strike. Little low, ball 2, 2-1 to count. Noah Syndergaard. Kenta Maeda tomorrow night. Bartolo Colon, Clayton Kershaw Thursday night. 2-1. And a little low, ball 3. Dodgers scored 2 in the first. Mets came back with 2 in the second, and that's it. 3 balls and 1 strike. Ground ball by the diving Gonzalez into right field. So Lagares goes 1 for 3, slams his hands together as he looks out at Puig as if to say, catch that one. So Lagares a 2-out single, and Cabrera coming up. Two runs, 4 hits for the Mets. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. Cabrera hitting .298. Throw to first. Lagares has to jump back and came off the bag. I don't know whether he was still thinking about Puig, but they nail him on the pickoff. Tommy Goodwin explaining to him he had his foot on the bag and then it slipped off and he got a shot and he's out. So no runs are hit, nobody left. At the end of 4.5 innings, a very unhappy Lagares in a 2-2 tie. Going out to right field. He was busy talking, maybe to Adrian Gonzalez or maybe to his coach, Tommy Goodwin. But either way, watch. He is talking a streak. Now he starts. And apparently talking because Adrian is grinning and whoops, gotcha. Came off the bag. So it's a silent Lagares out there in right field. Corey Seager doubled and rolled the ball up along first, and DeGrom picked it up and got him. Pulled on the ground. Nice play by Campbell. Drops it, feeds to DeGrom. So one away in the fifth. Justin Turner coming up.
Third baseman, Justin Turner.
Justin Turner grounded to short, grounded to second, 0 for 2. Now normally he wears out DeGrom in the sense he is 5 for 11 against DeGrom. That would be a .455 batting average coming into this game, but he's 0 for 2. Starts him with a strike at the knees. 0-1. Noah Syndergaard, he'll be on the mound tomorrow night. Thor, as they call him. A very, very impressive guy. Stands 6'6", and the long blonde hair, even longer than DeGrom. And does he throw hard? It's a high foul ball going down the line. It's going to stay foul and go back into the stand. No balls and 2 strikes to Justin Turner. Justin 1 for 3 last night. Has reached base safely in his last 6. 0-2. Ground ball wide to third. Nice pick by Wright. Full turn. Throws him out. 2 down. Say, don't forget tomorrow at 7:10, Dodgers and Mets. and the first 40,000 fans receive a Dave Roberts bobblehead courtesy of State Farm. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Remember the play back in the second inning when Puig really drilled one? David Wright made a great diving stab of the ball, looked to second, no play, hurried his throw to first, and pulled Campbell off the bag, and they gave him an error. Upon further consideration, and I'm sure he talked to all the other writers, give Puig a base hit, take the error away from Wright. 1-1 the count to Adrian. So Puig comes up with a hit, and he is 1 for 3. In fact, take the error away, he's 1 for 2. Long fly ball to center. Cespedes watching. It's off the top of the wall. Into second base comes Gonzalez, and he is out at second. Imagine you hit almost the very top of the center field wall, and you're thrown out trying to go to second. Now the Dodgers will ask for a review. So it's going to be a single. A fine play by Cespedes to throw to second base, and the tag right there by Cabrera. At second, the umpire, Field and Culbreth. Boy, that's tough. Just missing a home run, and then you're erased at second base. Though Cabrera stayed right on him, they will lose it, and at the end of 5, we have a 2-2 tie. .55, Hodges, Robinson, Reese, and Cox, Amaro, Snyder, and Perillo, Campanella behind the plate, and Big Don Newcomb on the mound. Well, on this day in '55, Newcomb shut down the Cubs 3-0, facing only 27 batters. Nuke won 20 that year, and the Dodgers to win their only World's Championship for the borough of Brooklyn. And let's go back to this one. A quick glimpse of Big Nuke with his wife Karen. Boy, he was awesome to look at. Big Don had a huge windup. His arms, both arms went so far back, and then he would bring them together. He would rock on the rubber, and the crowd would ooh and ah, especially like in Detroit. They had not seen him, and he was pitching in the All-Star game. And when he came in and started to warm up, the crowd just went bananas. Meanwhile, Cabrera. 1-2. Struble grounded to short, struck out. Alex Wood has held the Mets to 4 hits and 2 runs in this 2-2 tie. 80 pitches now for Alex. Ground ball to the left. Seager, nice pick on the grass, and nice pick at the other end of it by Adrian Gonzalez. When you throw sidearm like that, the chances are it's going to sink. There's the pick and the turn, and then a little bit sidearm and the sinker. So 1 away. Nice play at both ends. David Wright struck out, walked, did not commit an error tonight when they reversed the call, and they should have. Little breaking ball, wrinkles in there for a strike. 0-1. Wright with Cespedes on deck. Little roller foul. Cespedes, when you think about it, has made 2 plays out there in center field, going up against the wall to make a catch, and then to play one off the center field wall and throw Gonzalez out at second. 1-2. Two runs, 4 hits for the Mets, 2 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. And that runs it up 2-2. Alex Wood out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Good sinking fastball off the plate, and Wright strikes out a second time. Wood has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters. He has struck out 7 in the game, and it's gotten him even. And now here's a man who can uneven it. Cespedes, single to left, scored a run, fly to right, went up against the wall to pull in a long fly ball by Puig, and then threw Gonzalez out at second. So he's done quite a bit. Blue Jays are leading the Giants 2-0. Remember, when the game started tonight, Dodgers and Giants tied for first place. 1 ball and no strikes. Fastball away. Wood at Dodger Stadium, 5 wins, 2 losses, and an earned run average of 1.8. Sinker missed. On the road, his ERA is almost 7, and he has 2 wins and 7 losses. Lewis Coleman is up now. Here's the 90th pitch coming up from Alex Wood. In there. 3-1. On deck, Wilmer Flores. Whoa. 3-2. Cespedes came to the Mets August of 2015, and he's hit 28 home runs for the Mets since he came over. Foul back. But he's also a fine defensive outfielder as well. At that same span with the 28 home runs, he's also knocked in 75 runs. He now has 40 assists since Puig made his debut. Off speed, check swing, no swing. The Cespedes draws the walk, and that brings up Wilmer Flores, who singled up the middle and grounded to short. Held it back for sure. Two out. Wilmer Flores struggling with the bat. Overpowered by a fastball on that pitch. 0-1 the count. He's featuring colorful shoes as well as a shin guard. If you're wondering about Cespedes trying to steal with two out, so far he has not been involved in a stolen base this year. Whoops, stumbled, stayed on the bag, and did he hurt himself? Time. He might have hurt his knee. So remember, Lagares slipped and was picked off when his foot slid off the bag. He hit the bag, turned his ankle, and then went down on his left knee. So he's hurting certainly either the ankle or the knee. Watch, when he steps, now it turned. Still turning. Oh, you can feel it up here. But as we guessed, he might have turned the ankle, but the knee also hurts. Pete Reiser, who was one of the great players to ever play for the Dodgers, but was also accident prone, and on a similar play like that, just a throw to first, Pete stepped on the bag and broke his ankle. Well, Cespedes hurt the ankle, but he's staying in there. Now, wouldn't it be something if he tries to steal second base? 0-1. Two down, sixth inning, a 2-2 tie. Just off the plate. Flores showing some good discipline to take that pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gonzalez on the bag, not taking anything for granted as far as Cespedes is concerned. Ball 2. 2 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Mets. Alex Wood and Jacob deGrom. Tomorrow night, Noah Syndergaard and Kenta Maeda, and then Bartolo Colon and Clayton Kershaw, and then the Cardinals are here for the weekend. That ran away. Fastball with late movement on it. So he's getting close to 100 pitches now. 3-1 the count. Alex, 25 years old. Fastball in there. So now 3-2 with 2 down. Gonzalez waiting to look at Wood and waiting Wood for a look at him, and when they connect, Adrian's off the bag. So bad ankle or no, Cespedes can go. Full count, 2 down. There he goes, and the pitch is strike 3 called. That's 8 strikeouts for Alex Wood. No runs, no hits, a man left. Alex fooling the hitter again on a low strike, and we're heading to the bottom of the 6th. 2-2. Year and a half, the Mets have been so successful on the road. Look at this. Going back to August 1 of last year, 35-13 on the road. The Cubs are close. Pirates are in the group, and then you fall back to Toronto and Seattle. But it's the New York Mets who do great work at home and surprisingly well on the road for Terry Collins. In the 6th inning, it'll be Grandal, Peterson, and Puig. DeGrom's fastball is high, and we're underway. By the way, Alex Wood has now made 99 pitches. How much longer he's in the game, we'll see. We also can tell you the Blue Jays are leading the Giants 2-0 in the 8th inning. Is Matt Cain still in that game? Yes, he is. Wow, that's great. Matt Cain, who was so great for the Giants, fell upon lean times and now trying to get back. He came into that game with an earned run average of almost 8. 2-1 the count to Grandal. Grounded out and doubled. And for Matt Cain, they tell me he's made 100 pitches. There's a ground ball into right field, but that's exactly where Flores is. One away. DeGrom now 85 pitches, and Jock Peterson doubled to left center and struck out. Sinker, 1 ball and no strikes. Well, considering the fact Wood has made 99 pitches, Rick Honeycutt is talking to the bullpen. They are listening, but they're not up and throwing. Big high pop fly. Eric Campbell suits on. 2 down. Now Puig.
Right fielder, number 66. Yasiel Puig.
Yasiel singled back in the 2nd inning and hit a long fly ball to center, and that's when Cespedes went up against the wall. I don't think he would have taken a home run away. I think the ball would have hit just below the very top of the left center field wall. So the Dodgers tonight have hit 2 of those used to call paint scrapers. Puig was out, and Gonzalez held to a single and was thrown out at second base. Adam Libathal gets up after the long telephone call down to the pen from Rick Honeycutt. Lewis Coleman's already been up once. We're 2-2, bottom of the 6th. Good ball game. And that's line to center. Cespedes picks it off. Boy, was that hit hard. Cespedes took 1 step in, and that ball looked like it was going to sail over his head. So Puig has hit 3 balls hard, and he is 1 for 3. And at the end of 6, a 2-2 tie. Is brought to you by Cricket Wireless. Cricket, something to smile about. Well, the children burning off some energy upstairs, oblivious to the fact that if we've got a pretty good ball game going here, 2-2. However, there is a play zone, and they're going to take advantage of it. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Mets, 2 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, and in the 7th inning, Conforto, Plawecki, and Campbell. Breaking ball in for a strike. Good pitch. Michael Conforto hitting .286. He's going to play a lot for the Mets, I do believe. We talked about his mom and dad being superior athletes. And he's not only a fine athlete, he's a very bright young man. Conforto out of Washington, 6'1", 215, 23 years old, just starting out. He was the youngest player in either starting lineup for Game 1 of last year's World Series, and yet it was his 3rd World Series. So he's now played in the Little League World Series, the College World Series, and the Major League Baseball World Series. He's also struck out. And now let's see, 102 pitches, and Dave Roberts perhaps will make a move. He's had Lewis Coleman up, he's had Liberatore up, and it's time for Alex Wood to lead the game, and he has pitched a dandy and gets a well-deserved ovation as he heads for the dugout. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, now pitching for the Dodgers, number 67, Lewis Coleman.
Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the $4 real deal, 4 items for just $4 at Carl's Jr. We're in the 7th inning in a 2-2 tie. A great effort by left-hander Alex Wood. They let him get to the 7th inning. He struck out Conforto, and then they brought out the hook. Interesting point about that. Coleman missing ball 1. Wood has faced a total of 8 batters after the 6th inning this year. He made 102 pitches in striking out Conforto, and it was time to get him out of there. His Tommy John surgery was 2009. But he does have a rather unorthodox delivery that puts a tremendous amount of strain on the arm. So handle with care. And here Alex Wood, 5-2, and on the road a totally different pitcher, 2-7. So he made 102 pitches, not involved in the decision. Good side armor Lewis Coleman out of Mississippi. Coleman, 6'4", 205-pounder. Greenwood, Mississippi, where he was born. Slater, Mississippi, where he lives. Oh, sidearm breaking ball to take care of Plawecki. 10 Mets have struck out tonight, and 3 in a row.
First baseman number 29, Eric Campbell.
So the first baseman, Eric Campbell, coming up. Fly to right, struck out, 0-for-2. Last night, Lucas Duda played first base, went 0-for-2 with a couple of walks. So DeGrom out on deck. He's made 90 pitches. That's a strike. Lewis Coleman, brought up from the Dodgers from Oklahoma City, and he's done very well with that sidearm delivery. That got the inside corner. Waiting on deck, DeGrom. Half swing in the dirt, the tag by Grandal, and that's the inning. So the Mets strike out. Conforto, Plawecki, and Campbell. We're heading for the bottom of the 7th inning in a 2-2 tie. We have a 2-2 tie, bottom of the 7th inning. A fly ball down the left field line going foul, and the count 0-1, and Crawford back to hit again. Carl Crawford grounded out and struck out. DeGrom has struck out 4. Alex Wood struck out 9. Coleman struck out 2. 1-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, they will hit for Coleman with Howie Kendrick. So Pedro Baez begins to warm up. Drive to left, coming over to his right is Conforto to pick it off. So 1 away in the 7th inning, and here's Howie Kendrick coming off the bench.
Now batting, pinch hitter number 47, Howie Kendrick.
Howie Kendrick, slowly building up that batting average, hitting .333 for the last 6 games. So 200 doesn't look good to you, but it looks pretty good to him. He's building on it. 0-1. DeGrom with a record of 3-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Quite an effort by young Alex Wood. 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts. 2-1. Syndergaard and Maeda tomorrow night. That's a strike. There's Bartolo Colon all wrapped up. We will see him Thursday sitting alongside of Rene Rivera, who might even catch him. Foul back. Meanwhile, Kike Hernandez talking to Clayton Kershaw. A.J. Ellis on the prowl. 2-2. Fastball, little roller. Plenty of time, and the out recorded. So 2 down, and Utley coming up.
Second baseman, number 26, Chase Utley.
When the Mets come up in the 8th inning, Jacob deGrom is due to lead off. So we'll keep an eye on the bullpen for the Mets, because they might very well hit for deGrom. So we'll see. Here's Utley, doubled, scored a run, struck out, and was out on a fine play by Cabrera. Gary Blevins, a left-hander, loosening up, because after Utley there's Seaver, and then later Gonzalez, Peterson, and he's going to be joined by a right-hander, Hansel Robles, whom we saw last night. So deGrom now has made 101 pitches. Woods made 102. Blue Jays leading the Giants 2-0 in the 9th inning. The National League West, as always, is kind of goofy. The Dodgers and the Giants are tied. Arizona 1 game back, and the Giants are losing, and the Dodgers are on the edge. Slow roller, tough play, but there's the old shortstop making the play. deGrom to Campbell. So that's the inning. deGrom getting a big kick out of going after that ball. So he finishes up, really retiring the last 6 in a row, and we are heading to the 8th in a 2-2 tie. DeGrom is done for the night, getting fives. Danny Warthen, Noah Syndergaard, and his catcher Plawecki. He made 103 pitches. Alex Wood made 102. Wood had 9 strikeouts. DeGrom struck out just a couple, but they're locked in, and Pedro Baez ready to pitch the 8th inning. Now, when the Dodgers get to the 8th inning, the way the season has gone so far, we should have a rather ominous sound, because the team earned run average for the Dodgers in the 8th inning is over 6. It's almost 7. So it has been a disastrous inning, and we'll see how Pedro Baez goes with it. And the first man he'll face is Curtis Granderson, who has a bad hip. Did go 2 for 5, hitting the first pitch for a home run last night. So he might take a hack at the first pitch from Baez. 2-2 in the 8th. And a strike. Good pitch inside corner. By the way, Diamondbacks have beaten the Rockies 5-1. De La Rosa getting the win. Goldsmith hitting his 7th home run. So we could easily have a 3-way tie for first. The bunt by Granderson. The throw in time to get him. So 1 out in the 8th inning, and the batter will be Juan Lagares.
Right fielder number 12, Juan Lagares.
So the Dodgers defended well. Baez gets the leadoff man. Now Pedro working on Lagares. Lost a base hit on a diving catch by Puig. Popped up, single to right, and was picked off. So Arizona wins. The Giants could lose. The Dodgers could lose. And we could have a 3-way tie for first place in the National League West. Dazzling, huh? 1 ball and no strikes. Baez 6'2", about 230, throws very hard. From Bonnie in the Dominican Republic. And a 1-hopper by the diving Seager. Let's see, are they going to turn him loose? No. So Lagares singles into the gap in left center, and that'll bring up Asdrubal Cabrera. So Lagares aboard now for the 2nd time, and Tom Goodwin saying to him, now don't get talking and slip and get picked off. So we'll see if Lagares has much. Well, he's right back at talking to Gonzalez about slipping off the bag. Yep. That bag done him wrong. The batter will be Cabrera with right on deck. Lagares does not have a stolen base. Mets don't run a lot. With 49 home runs, they don't have to. They've had 8 stolen bases so far. And a strike. Well, the Blue Jays are leading the Giants 3-0 in the 9th inning. And Troy Tulowitzki has just doubled to drive in that 3rd run. Cabrera grounded to short, struck out, and grounded to short again. And did that hit him on the arm? Yep. So Cabrera hit on the arm, almost knocked a tattoo off. And the batter will be David Wright.
Third baseman number 5,
Just
David Wright.
nicked him on the elbow. And oh, he is furious. So first and second with one out. And that brings up David Wright, who is very hungry. Things have gone wrong for Mr. Wright. He has struck out twice and walked. He struck out once last night and went 0 for 4. So he is 0 for 6 in the series with 3 strikeouts. And he's a guy, remember, who used to wear the Dodgers out here, especially as high as 365. Well, the Blue Jays got another. They're leading the Giants 4-0 in the 9th inning. 2 on, 1 out. And ball 1. The paid attendance tonight, 38,858. 38,858. Seeing quite a game. 2-2 in the 8th inning. Wright with Cespedes on deck. And that's a strike to even it up at 98 miles an hour. Lagares at second, Cabrera at first, 1 out, 2-2 in the 8th. Dodgers with Woods, who pitched brilliantly, then Coleman, and now Baez. And another strike at 97. That's the old story. The hitter turns to the umpire and says, "Didn't that sound low?" Two and two at 98. Baez 6'2" and 230 and gets it all in every pitch. Baez made his major league debut 2 years ago, May 5, against the Washington Nationals. Rough beginning. He allowed a single and a 2-run home run to the first 2 batters. 2 and 2. Whoa, wow, the Express at 98 just blew David Wright down. He strikes out a 3rd time. So that's 12 Mets have struck out tonight. And the batter is Cespedes, who has singled, scored a run, flied to right and walked, and made 2 fine defensive plays. In the Mets bullpen, Antonio Bastardo begins to warm up. There's the left-hander. He was in the game briefly last night. All right, 2 out, and the big man at the plate. Lagares at second, Cabrera at first. 2 out in a 2-2 tie. And in the dirt. 1 ball, no strike. 11 home runs, 31 runs batted in, and with runners in scoring position, 5 home runs, 21 ribbies, and a .303 average. One ball and no strikes. And another at 98. Baez, 28 years old. 1-1. Whoa. You throw it as hard as you can, and I'll swing as hard as I can, and let's see how it comes out. Oh, what a battle here. No finesse. It's power. 1-2. Foul back. Wow, 99. It's amazing, isn't it? Somebody can throw the ball that fast, and somebody else can even hit it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 out in the 8th. 2 on. 2-2 tie. And a ground ball to short, the quick feed, and that's it. What a head-to-head battle that was. And the winner was Pedro Baez. No run, 1 hit, 2 left. And at the end of 7.5, a 2-2 tie. Comes out of the bullpen to pick it up. We saw him briefly last night. This will be his 14th game. ERA of not quite 2.5, and he's piled up about 15 innings. He's from Hato Mayor in the Dominican. He will be facing Corey Seager, who drove one into the gap in left center, and while Conforto was chasing it, Utley scored. But that was way back in the first inning. Seager, since the double, hit back to the box and grounded to first, though he was 1 for 3 against DeGrom. Bastardo, no record. 8 walks, 20 strikeouts. Fastball strike, 0-1. Antonio originally signed by the Phillies. Breaking ball pulled down the right field line in the corner. It is fair ball, bounces into the stands. So Seager stops at second base with a ground rule double. Bastardo does not throw as hard as he used to. At one time, his fastball was clocked up at 95, but by 2013, it was down to 91, and it's probably less than that now. So a leadoff double, and now they will walk Turner and take their chances against Gonzalez with a left-hander on the mound. Ball one. So Seager pulling the double into the right field corner. Turner getting the intentional walk. Nobody out. And it'll be Gonzalez, Grandal, and Peterson. And Grandal will bat right-handed against the left-hander. 2-0. Adrian waiting on deck. He's had a scoring fly ball, a single to right, and a single off the top of the center field wall, and he was thrown out trying to go to second base. So Bastardo digging a hole, and here comes Gonzalez. Adrian perking up, 2 hits and an RBI fly ball. Boy, the second hit just around the numbers on the center field wall, and Cespedes played it off the wall and threw him out. Yeah, it was hit that far, and then Cespedes made a great throw. All right, 2 on, nobody out. Grandal on deck. Seager and Turner on the lines, and here we go. Little ground ball to third. Wright's going to go to the bag for 1. Guns it across to first in the dirt. It was questionable whether David could have gotten 2, but he had nothing on the throw to first anyway. So he goes to the bag for 1. And then he threw a sinker. And Gonzalez beats it out. So first and second, 1 out. And now let's see. Danny Wharton, who at one time was the bullpen coach for the Dodgers, the pitching coach for the Mets, talking to Bastardo. Grandal will be turning around to hit right-handed. Danny's delivered the message. So first and second, 1 out. Grandal and Peterson on deck. Kenley Jansen warming up in the Dodger bullpen. Hansel Robles warming up in the Mets pen. All right, Bastardo now and Grandal. Yasmani has grounded out, doubled, grounded out again. 1 for 3. All those at bats he was hitting left-handed. Time. Robles playing cat and mouse out there at second base, trying to take a step away from Turner. Bottom of the 8th inning. 2 on, 1 out. 2-2 tie. Dodgers had at least 1 man on base in every inning through 5. Then the 6th and the 7th, they were quiet. And now they have first and second. Dodgers far more effective with less than 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Boy, Grandal really came up on that pitch. 0-1. Watch his movement. I mean, I think he. Oh well. Here it comes. He started to back out, decided to swing at it anyway instead of asking for time. With less than 2 outs and runners in scoring position, the Dodgers are hitting .317, but with 2 outs, only .167. So this is a big moment with Grandal. He's really worrying about Turner. Big foul ball. Turner at second, Gonzalez at first. $38,858. Enjoying a dandy of a ball game. Tomorrow night, Noah Syndergaard and Kenta Maeda. And then Colon and Kershaw on Thursday. Fly ball deep to left. Back goes Conforto, just on the track to make the catch, and the runners have to get back. So Grandal hit it hard, a line drive out to left field. So the batter now will be Jock Peterson. Nice play by Conforto. Peterson doubled, struck out, and popped up. Jock hitting .277. Plawecki telling Bastardo how they were trying to pitch. Now Campbell, first baseman, over to talk. Two runs, 5 hits for the Mets. 2 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. And here's Jock. Turner at second, Gonzalez at first, so no real speed out there. Cabrera, with a left-hand hitter up, is directly behind Turner. So that takes a step away from him, and that's pretty important. To the bag, and the throw, not in time. Turner, of course, having that surgery on his knee. And what Cabrera can do to take a step away from him could be very important on a play at the plate. Flores about 3 feet on the grass in right field, that's all. That's a strike. 0-1. Peterson came into the game hitting .275, 6 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Oh and 1. Just missed. Plawecki holding it. Remember, we have the youngest umpire in the National League, Nick Lentz, 26 years old. Balls and strikes. 1-1. Cabrera still with a left-hand hitter up again, able to hound Turner at second base. 1-2. In the inning, Seager doubled. Turner walked intentionally. Gonzalez, a ground ball right, stepped on the bag for the force play. Grandal lined out to left. And here's Peterson, 1-2 the count. Two and two. So we got all the deuces you want. They are wild indeed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out in a 2-2 tie, and 2 men on base, Gonzalez and Turner. Flores has moved from 3 feet on the grass back to at least 10 to 15. Hitting behind Peterson, Yasiel Puig. 2-2. Big pitch for Bastardo now. So the base runners will be going. Turner from second, Gonzalez from first. Terry checking his card. The runners ready to go. 2 out in the 8th with the game time. That's a break for the Dodgers. Not any great running speed on the pads. And again, Cabrera trying to take a step or 2 away from Turner. Directly behind him up the middle. 3-2. Runners go. Ground ball to Campbell. And the Dodgers are out of the soup at the end of 8. A 2-2 tie. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better. We have reached the 9th inning. We have a 2-2 tie and a whale of a ball game. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Mets. 2 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. And now we get to the nitty-gritty and we get to the 9th inning. It's Kenley Jansen going to pick it up against Flores, Conforto, and Plawecki unless Terry Collins goes to the bench. First move will be Lucas Duda, the left-hand hitting first baseman, and he will bat for Flores. So Lucas Duda, power hitter, 7 home runs, 18 runs batted in, went to school here at USC. Started last night, struck out, grounded out, walked twice. So Kenley Jansen coming in, tied for first in the majors with 11 saves. He has converted 23 consecutive saves going back to August of last year. And he is the number 2 saves man behind Eric Gagne for the Dodgers. Starts off with a strike. Gagne had 161 saves. Kenley Jansen 153. 0-1. And on the corner, so Duda comes off the bench and he's in a hole. No balls, 2 strikes. 0-2. Foul back, jammed him. So it's been DeGrom, Bastardo, and we'll need another pitcher. They talk about exit speed, the ball leaving the bat. That's a new one. And Duda does very well in that area. Pops in the air. Who's going to be it with the right side shifted? It's up to Grandal, who almost stepped on his mask. He was very close. There was no way the Dodgers could get anybody else with the shift on the right. Turner was all alone. He was going to be late. There goes the mask, and he was that close, the left foot, of stepping on the mask. So 1 out, and now Conforto coming up. Conforto reached on an error, flied to right, and struck out. Ball 1. By the way, the Blue Jays defeated the Giants 4-0. So the Dodgers, with a win, could get into first place. Arizona won, so they've caught the Giants. And a strike. Plawecki, the catcher, would be due up next. There's Plawecki. Kevin waiting his turn. 1 ball and 1 strike in the 9th. 2-2. A little roller foul. 1-2. Michael Conforto. 0 for 3. He was the last batter that Alex Wood faced, and Alex struck him out to give Wood 9 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings. Then it's been Coleman, Baez, and Jansen. Foul back. Starting pitchers pitched so well. Alex Wood, Jacob deGrom. So they're out of the decision. Cutter, cutter, cutter. That's what you get. Only that was not a cutter. Breaking ball in the dirt. And 2 down here in the 9th inning. Say, be sure to follow Dodger Baseball live with the MLB.com at bat. You can stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. So download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. So Conforto strikes out a second time. 13 Mets have struck out. Woods 9, Coleman 2, Baez and Jansen each 1. Ball 1. Plawecki single to left and struck out twice. Did have that home run last night. 1 ball, no strikes. Two and 0. A reminder, 2 out, top of the 9th, 2-2. The Dodgers in the bottom of the 9th will have Puig, Crawford, and Jansen. Slap to the right side. Utley is on it. All right. The Mets go 1, 2, 3 in the 9th. So Yasiel Puig will start it off, and he's hit the ball hard all 3 times tonight. And we'll be back to see what he does on the 4th. Inning, Lucas Duda, who batted for Flores, fouled out as the pinch hitter. He takes over for Eric Campbell, but Campbell doesn't leave the game. He just moves over to play second base. So the right side of the infield has changed as Hansel Robles comes in, and we will see what kind of an effect that has. Campbell at second, Duda at first. So here comes Yasiel Puig, single to third despite a great effort by David Wright. Hit one to center, and Cespedes caught it up against the wall and lined out to Cespedes in the 6th inning. So he has really hit the ball hard 3 times, and he is 1 for 3. Hansel Robles. And a strike, 0-1. One and one. Robles from the Dominican. He was signed as a free agent by the Mets. The high cutter at 88. He's 5'11", 185, and 25 years old. He'll be 26 in August. They say his sinker is about the best in the Mets organization. Jammed him, fouled away. 1-2. Puig knows the book on him. Fastball, slider, changeup. Four-seam fastball. That's it. Popped up on the right side. Who will it be? Duda or Campbell? It's going to be Campbell. So Puig, first time tonight, he does not hit the ball hard, and he pops it up. In the Dodger bullpen, Chris Hatcher begins to warm up. Crawford grounded to first, struck out and flied to left, 0 for 3. On deck is Trace Thompson. Dodgers have already used Kendrick as a pinch hitter. That's off the plate, ball one. And that's in there. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And a fly ball to left field. Conforto is there. Michael puts it away. And we have 2 down here in the 9th inning. And here comes Trace Thompson. You may remember last night, if you were watching, he had a fly ball down the right field line and it found its home for a home run. Just got in there, but that's all that counts. 2-run home run. He's up here tonight in a 2-2 tie. So Thompson batting for Jansen, and Chris Hatcher will pitch the 10th if there is one. Kendrick pinch hit and grounded out. And a strike. 0-1. Kendrick, Kike Hernandez matching notes in the dugout. Good fastball. Wow, at 96. The new expression really in the last few years, that ball really came out of his hand. 0-2. Fouled away. So Robles living in that 96 area, and a no ball 2 strike count. He'll throw that 4-seamer, they tell me, a little over 70% of the time, followed by the slider at 27, and then the change. 0-2 to Trace Thompson. High fastball, 1-2. We've been tied since the top of the 2nd inning, 2-2. Check swing foul. Thompson came in hitting .266. Three home runs, 11 runs batted in. Tomorrow night, Noah Syndergaard, Kenta Maeda. There's Noah. 1-2. Fastball missed away. And there's Maeda talking to his interpreter. Waiting on deck, should Thompson get aboard, is Chase Utley. Chase 1 for 4, doubled in the first inning, scored a run. Light breeze now blowing to right field. And a high fly ball into deep left center field. She is gone. Thompson, who hit a little fly ball down the right field line for a home run last night, hits one into the pavilion in left center field. And on a cool night, the Dodgers decide not to drown him, not at least for the moment. For the Dodgers, 3 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. For the Mets, 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. So the teams have split the first 2 and 2 to go. And of course, without any doubt, the play of the game, the dramatic game-winning home run in the bottom of the 9th. Fastball up and out and away. And the Dodgers win it 3-2. Tomorrow night, Noah Syndergaard and Kenta Maeda. Meanwhile, Hansel Robles ticked off indeed, understandably so. So we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, hopefully out here. If not, okay, where you are. But either way, right now we wish you a very pleasant good evening, everybody.